Well, 2025 is shaping up to be a very exciting year in the theme park realm as Epic Universe from Universal Studios is coming online. And lots of people have had many questions about Disney World in terms of the things that they announce when those will be done. It won't be in 2025. And a lot of people have had questions about how Disney World is going to fare as Epic Universe opens and if their attendance is going to be impacted negatively. Disney has said they think they're going to see a bump from Epic Universe coming in. I've had my doubts on that, but they very well could see a slight increase or maintain their attendance levels. But there is that scenario out there where they do take a pretty big hit from Epic Universe opening. And obviously Universal is going to be benefiting from a lot more attendance increase from Epic Universe. But if Disney gets hit on that, I've had a lot of questions in terms of what they would do. And really, are they giving people a reason to come to the parks in 2025? So we actually have two articles here talking about this, one from Disney Food Blog and another one from Disney Dining, both Disney media related websites. And I figured let's take a look at what they have to say here and get some thoughts on it. But I think it's a really good question. Is basically Disney telling people to stay away in 2025? Now, I don't think they would be on purpose, but are they saying that by their actions? So we're going to read through these and get some thoughts on them here. So hi, I'm Jared with Caption Magic, and we're not going to read this article in entirety from Disney Food Blog. And they say the one frustrating reason you should skip Magic Kingdom in 2025. And the main reason they talk about is that Big Thunder Mountain is going to be closed for 2 years. I will say the timing of Big Thunder Mountain closing in 2025 is not great, considering you're taking away a very popular attraction that is a draw for people when you're trying to bolster or maintain your attendance while your biggest competitor has a brand new theme park opening. It's questionable on some level, I would say, but that's their main reason for saying that there. But Disney Dining here has kind of some more points we'll go over, but they say raising prices and limited attractions make Walt Disney World less desirable in 2025. And they say here, Jim Shull's warnings to visitors. So former Imagineer Jim Shull has voiced significant concerns regarding plans for Walt Disney World in 2025. In a recent statement, he urged potential visitors to rethink their travel plans, highlighting a perceived decrease in the number of attractions available. Shull emphasized that Disney's actions suggest to families that they may not be the best time to visit the parks. Shull pointed out that those who are keen on visiting typically plan their vacations months in advance. And based on recent developments, it appears that Disney is signaling that 2025 might not be ideal for guests. His remarks resonate with many fans growing increasingly apprehensive about the park's future offerings. This is why I'm so confused by Disney's kind of their stance on things. And I understand they're not going to come out and say, yeah, we're going to get hammered by Epic Universe, but they seem openly confident that they're going to see this bump from Epic Universe. And it seems like they think that they don't really have to do much and they're just going to basically, benefit from it, which it could happen. I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but their whole plan is basically shows, parades, and lounges. Essentially, they just recently said they're going to have Bluey come to the parks for a meet and greet, which that one could be a decent draw, but it's just a meet and greet. And I have had questions in the same thing of what is the reason that you would give people to come other than you're just Disney and you're there. And I suppose on some level that could work, but I've often had questions about that as well. Impacts of construction on guest experience. The ongoing construction at Walt Disney World is set to significantly impact the overall guest experience. With several attractions facing closure for extended periods, visitors can expect a diminished experience. Shull's comments underline the growing unease amongst parkgoers who fear that renovations will lead to overcrowding and longer wait times for the limited attractions that will remain operational. It's a very good point. And because with Big Thunder being down, and this is the same thing when you're in a theme park, when, sometimes I've been in Magic Kingdom where 2, 3, 4 attractions go down, that causes the wait times everywhere else to go up because obviously there's not as many things for people to do and absorb the crowds, and that impacts wait times, which is one thing that we had a video the other day talking about this. Wait times are the one thing that most theme park guests absolutely loathe, and it can really impact how people feel about their trips. So if you have increased wait times, that's not going to be something people want to experience. So higher wait times and taking attractions away, it's not a recipe for really good guest satisfaction. The anticipation of large construction zones may deter many families from planning their trips in 2025, as guest satisfaction will likely decline during this transitional phase. It says visitor sentiment is hold off on 2025. The general sentiment among Disney enthusiasts appears to be one of caution. Many individuals who have closely followed developments and responses from the company feel disheartened. As Shull noted, the message from Disney seems to be don't come in 2025 as the company prepares for significant changes. With the atmosphere becoming less favorable, potential visitors are now reconsidering their options, leaving the door open for alternatives, particularly, I can't say that word very well, at Universal Orlando Resort. prepares to open new attractions, well, a brand new theme park with 13 attractions. So yes, multiple attractions there. Says major closures and their effects. Walt Disney World is set to experience several major attraction closures in 2025. Like we said, Big Thunder Mountain, in addition to Tom Sawyer Island, is scheduled to close permanently, significantly disrupting areas like Frontierland and Liberty Square. Such closures will not only eliminate beloved attractions, but could also lead to congested areas throughout the park. Not to mention, now when they start construction on these things is another question. They've gone on and said that Dinosaur over in Animal Kingdom is going to be open in all of 2025. We have no idea when Muppet Vision 3D is going to go away, as that's where the Monsters Inc. land is going, and they're having permit issues getting the permits approved for the destruction of the rivers of America. So there's really no hard timeline on any of this stuff right now. But once they get going on this, you are going to have 3 out of your 4 major theme parks under major construction. And again, it's one thing to have one park under construction, as Hollywood Studios for a long time was that way, then Epcot for a very long time was that way, as they did the Epcot overhaul. But when you're talking 3 out of the 4 theme parks, that doesn't necessarily scream you should come visit the parks now whenever these things, are going to be under construction, impacting guests now. But a lot of people may just say, let's just wait till this stuff is done and then go. It says reduced capacity at Magic Kingdom. With closures at Magic Kingdom, the park's overall capacity will be reduced, leading to an increased concentration of guests in the open attractions. This redeployment of crowds results in longer wait times and could ultimately detract from the overall enjoyment visitors have to come to expect from their experiences at the park. Obviously, too, Magic Kingdom is the number 1 theme park in the world, attendance-wise, so it has the most people. So that is a major issue that you could run into with Magic Kingdom. Hollywood Studios will also grapple with major closures, including fan favorite Muppet Vision 3D and Rock and Roller Coaster. As attractions close, the guest experience and satisfaction are anticipated to falter further, leading to concerns about the overall viability of the park in 2025. And that's another thing. Hollywood Studios is already bad about wait times. And if you look at Rock and Roller Coaster, it is a pretty in-demand ride. It always has a pretty decent wait time there. You have that. If you have that ride going away, you have Muppet Vision 3D going away. The wait times in Hollywood Studios are only going to get worse. And I think that's not a great thing if you're looking to visit the parks, and especially a park that was already having its issues with wait times historically. Competitive climate with Universal. As Walt Disney World faces numerous challenges in 2025, the opening of Epic Universe presents a growing competitive threat. While Disney executives have expressed confidence that increased visitors to Central Florida will benefit all parks, Scholl believes that the limitations at Walt Disney World will push families towards Universal for more appealing alternatives. I've been saying this for a while. I think undoubtedly Universal is going to see a massive increase in their attendance. Probably somewhere north of 40% if I were to guess. Could even go higher than that. But I think with Disney, what is the reason people would go? And especially when you look at not only like the things that are going on with the construction, but the overall sentiment of the brand, the price hikes. It's not the same way people view Disney now as they did even 10 years ago. And right now, when you look at tickets to Universal Studios, including Epic Universe, it's still cheaper to go to Universal than it is to go to Disney. And that's with a brand new theme park. Plus, Universal has very moderately priced hotels. I mean, you can still stay in a 1-bedroom and dockside and surfside on some nights in the low $100 range. It's a great deal. And even their moderates and deluxes are not terribly priced. Even Helios itself, it's in the $300 range per night, and sometimes even lower if you stay longer. So they offer their hotels at a really good rate. They're still cheaper. So the value there with Universal is there much more versus Disney. And I think as people compare those things, I think a lot of people are going to end up going to Universal. Now, they may still go to Disney, but they may not go to Disney for 4 nights or 5 nights. They may go to Universal for the majority of their trip and add on a day or 2 at Disney, which would be the inverse of what's happened historically between Disney and Universal. The increasing allure of Universal Orlando's resort's upcoming attractions may cause many Disney fans to reconsider their plans. As the value of a Disney experience seems to diminish, families actively seek other options that promise a richer vacation experience. With the shifts happening at Disney World, the company's current strategy is being heavily scrutinized. Increased prices coupled with limited attractions raise concerns amongst potential visitors. If attendance numbers falter as projected, Disney may have to reevaluate its approach to remain competitive in the theme park market. And that's what I've said too. If their best case scenario is essentially they they maintain attendance, or maybe they see a 1% to 2% bump. I think that will be a massive win for Disney if they were able to do that during this time period when Epic Universe opens. But there is a scenario where they really get hit pretty hard on attendance, and I've asked the question, what do they do? What cards do they have left to play? Now, they're probably undoubtedly going to do discounts no matter what, but you could see them offer some pretty steep discounts, trying to, especially with annual pass holders, get them to come to the parks, and maybe they bring back perks that they pulled away. But the problem with it is they've increased the prices so much that it's just priced out a lot of people to begin with. And for a lot of reasons, the sentiment with Disney of not only on that end, but you have the DAS changes, you have just how, Disney has kind of stuck their foot into, the politic world a little bit. They're trying to get out of that, but they have ruffled feathers in that way. And it's just not the same way that people view Disney as they used to, on top of the competition from Universal really, really heating up, and Disney not having anything to answer for Epic Universe for years. My guess has been 2028 and beyond before we see any of this stuff that they announced at D23 come online. And they do point out, I suppose one bright spot is Test Track 3.0 is opening, but it's not really a new attraction. It's just an updated attraction, but that is something that Epcot will have. So I suppose the most complete park you will have during this time period is going to be Epcot. So in the overall sentiment, just kind of view up what I said. So, this is something that, I've said, and now you're seeing, not only Disney dining, which they will run articles that are kind of critical of Disney, but you don't find Disney Food Blog many times being rather critical. And you've got Disney Food Blog saying you should skip Magic Kingdom for this one reason. Again, Magic Kingdom is the biggest theme park in the world in terms of attendance. And if that does take a hit, again, it's going to be felt by Disney quite a bit. So I've asked this question many times, and if you're a constant viewer of this channel, I will sound like I'm repeating myself. But I have to imagine Disney's management is not nearly as confident as they're putting on, as it just seems like in a world in which you have a brand new theme park and Universal is doing all the things they're doing, and Disney seemingly just sat on their hands for years when they could have announced things previously the last few years and had some stuff come online within a year or two of Epic Universe opening. They're currently in this state where they're basically giving Epic Universe a free run for the next, in my estimation, close to 5 years, if not longer, before the things that they want to build are done. Because again, Disney's construction is long and it does not go quickly, and they're going to have 3 parks under construction, and I have a lot of questions in terms of the speed of that. A lot of the permit issues are out there still that haven't been approved when you come to Magic Kingdom. So there's a lot more questions and answers, and I have to imagine Disney can say whatever they want, but going into 2025, especially the middle of the year, they've got to be a bit nervous. And I think we'll be able to look at perhaps the average wait times. We can look at from Thrill data to see how the wait times are looking, maybe around May, June, July, to see how the summer's looking. And obviously toward the fall, you have the Christmas coming up. I think, you're going to see Universal have major crowds, probably record-breaking crowds. And how does Disney fare in that? So there's going to be a lot of scrutiny on that, looking at that. And I think we'll probably know how Disney feels, considering what kind of offers and discounts do they come out with. Are they able to put together more meet and greets? I think they're going to do a lot more shows and meet and greets, perhaps to try and entice people, because they can put these together very quickly and they're cheap. But this could be, as I've said many times, a very rough few years for Disney as they continue to cede market share to Universal. And I think what would really have Disney worried would be that stock price. If that stock price takes a hit, which it very well could, because Disney World, and basically Disney World is a third of all the overall revenue of the company, but the parks are the major driver of profit and revenue in the entire Disney company. So if they start taking a hit on that, investors are going to notice, and that stock price is going to go down if that does happen. So I'm not making any predictions, but I think I look at this and I would be surprised if Disney went up in attendance or maintained it, really. Not saying it couldn't happen, but I'd be kind of surprised given what they're kind of signaling, and again, the offerings from Universal with Epic Universe. But obviously, we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. And as we find out more information here, I will let you know about it and talk about it on here. But for now, that's it for this video. If you like this video, please like it and subscribe to the channel, as we do lots of coverage here of Universal Studios, Epic Universe, Disney World, and pop culture. And let us know in the comments, how do you think Disney World is going to fare in 2025 going up against Epic Universe? And until next time, we will see you in the parks.